questions from the media. I did want to ask you real quickly. You've been coaching for 45 years. What will you miss the most about it, and what do you think you will enjoy about what lies ahead?
Well, thanks, Mike. And clearly, the most important thing is the relationship with the players and the coaching staff and others around the department every day. Um, when you get a routine, of watching film every morning and going to lunch every day, we'll miss that. We'll miss the preparation. I think the games are great and people love the games, but I think coaches enjoy the preparation time more, the practices more, trying to figure out how to help the players get results that we always want. We'll miss that, and all that relates to people. Uh, uh, everything goes back to relationships and people, and we've been so fortunate to be around great people and people we enjoy every day. I think that's again the opportunity to do this for from the time we were a player 50 years and enjoy every day. That's only happens in fairy tales, and we've been afforded the opportunity to live that fairy tale. And so we'll miss the people, we'll miss the players, we'll miss the preparation on a daily basis. Um, but again, we're excited about what lies ahead and engaging in other ways and becoming biggest boosters and fans of the Sooners and the Rebels and the Wildcats and all those people. We've always followed those programs extremely well and closely and cheered like crazy for them. And we look forward to doing that now as a fan going forward.
Great. Thank you, Coach. Okay, we'll move to questions from our media guests now. First one will be from Ryan Aber of the Oklahoman, and then Eric Bailey. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, Lon, thanks for doing this and congratulations. When did you start thinking about this decision in a concrete way? When did you make the final decision? What led you to that? And also, how did Cammie react when you told her you were going to be seeing her a little bit more?
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. She she doesn't know me for she's 19 months old, so she doesn't yet understand how much of a pest I will be in her life. Because you know what, we knew it was going to come to an end at some point. We didn't expect it to be right now, but I guess, quite frankly, in all transparency, when Coach Hill passed, a couple months ago. That hit hard, and so that got Barb and I probably talking more seriously about it, and then we start thinking about how we want to spend. We're fortunate to have good health and again enjoy it every day, and grandkids were a big tug, no question about that. Angie and her husband Mike and Avery and Wyatt and Cole live in Nashville, and every year they get older, we just feel like we're missing something that we didn't want to miss anymore. Kevin and Allie in Vegas with Cammie, that's first and foremost in our agenda every day to see what we can do to engage in what they're doing. And then Kevin, getting that job in Vegas. I mean, what a blessing for him. He loves Vegas. He's got a great passion for the Rebels, and just to kind of throw, as a fan, just all of our time and interest and efforts and watching and cheering on the Rebels. And we'll always, we'll operate between Norman. We love the people. I told Joe as we talked about this, growing up in Kansas, growing up in Oklahoma, not any difference in the type of people and the grassroots and the foundation of those people. Uh, so yeah, I think those with Coach Hill and grandkids and Kevin's opportunity, I think all just kind of came together at the same time, and uh, and we're as disappointed, mixed emotions, of course. As much as we'll miss, we're really excited about where we're at, and appreciative of all the folks that have been involved, and really fired up about what lies ahead. So it'll be great, and we're looking forward to it.
Really appreciate it, Lon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Eric Bailey, Tulsa World, and then Joe Bettner. Eric?
I can't wait to see how low the handicap's going to get now. Fairways and greens, right? um, you were at Oklahoma more than any other stop during your 35-year college career. What was so special about Oklahoma? Did you anticipate being here for a decade when you took the job back in 2011? And finally, what advice would you give to your successor about this job?
Well, when we talked to Joe C about 10 years ago, it's hard to believe it's been 10 years about Oklahoma. We absolutely, Barb and I knew it would be our last stop. We knew that. We had we're delighted about that, and it couldn't have worked out better. I mean, the leadership here, the relationships here, the people here. Again, they are what we grew up with, and the connection was very easy because it was very genuine and very natural. And again, growing up in Kansas, we're exactly the same people, and so that was great. It couldn't have worked out better. And then again, to work with the leadership of President Harrows and Joe C. And again, thankful to President Bourne for that endorsement and opportunity from the start. How gracious he was in throughout that process. So. We didn't know it would be 10 years. We didn't know if it'd be 7 or 12 or whatever when we started out, but it transpired as we couldn't have wanted more. We had great players. We had great staffs and people on campus and around the building at the LNC are always kind and generous and supportive, and couldn't have asked for more. And to the next guy, he's going to be fortunate to have the same opportunity I did, and to work with outstanding people. And I know Oklahoma's about greatness and about championships, and the other coaches in the program are, we aspired to try to do what they've done for many years, and that is to put successful people and teams on the floor, and just so many people to be thankful for there as well. So the next coach will be great. I think he'll take this and take it to greater heights because Oklahoma deserves that and expects that in a good way, in a healthy way, and can't wait to see who that might be.
Lon, it was an honor covering you, man. Best of luck in retirement, okay?
Appreciate it. Thanks, Joe.
Okay, let's go to Joe Bettner, Norman transcript, and then Bob Prisbillo.
Hey, Lon, I wanted to ask you just, I know it's been an emotional kind of 24 hours, it seems, and probably longer than that, but I was wondering if you could just kind of take us how difficult it was having that conversation with this group in particular that you were going to be stepping down. I know a big senior class, but you return a lot of guys. Just how difficult was that, and just to kind of break that news to them?
Well, that's the most difficult part, leaving guys that you've dealt with, and I think the pandemic even created a different relationship because you're leaning on each other so much. You're depending on each other, every day, always. But through the pandemic, it's a different set of circumstances, and the players throughout the country, I thought, did a terrific job of managing that and dealing with it, and all the uncertainties day after day. So that's tough. That's really tough. But the guys were great. The guys were absolutely great. They made us feel good, and that's a compliment to them because it's hard. It's hard, and I told each of them, I said, you guys know how great University of Oklahoma is, and absolutely, we'll have a terrific coach coming in soon, and just be patient and trust the process and keep doing great things for the Sooners. So they were great, but it was still, that's the most difficult part.
Thanks so much, Lon. It's been an honor to cover you.
Thank you.
Hey, Bob Prisbillo, Sooner Scoop, and then John Hoover.
Can't help. It's just a phone call.
Lon, congratulations on a tremendous career. I mean, I know we can kind of go through every single season, mention some great memories, but you got to start with the Final Four year. Now that you've had time to reflect back and things like that, how really special was that season?
Well, all groups are special in different ways. What makes that group, maybe other than the wins, the togetherness that group had, the confidence they had in each other, the security they had to step out and do individually what they could do well and expect others to take care of that same responsibility. They played with great joy. Yeah, they loved practice. They loved practice, and it was fun to watch them grow and watch from day one. And it started with Buddy. Isaiah. He and Buddy, had a very healthy competition. From the start. But Buddy said from day one, his senior year, that hey, we're going to the Final Four. And you look around, it's hard to go to the Final Four. I mean, there's so many great teams. It's hard to win tournament games. It's hard to win any games, especially in the Big 12. But Buddy just absolutely, expected that, and he wasn't just saying it. And the other guys kind of bought into it and gradually, believed it, and they just kept getting better and better. And then played, unbelievable basketball, especially in that Sweet 16 Elite 8 game to go to the Final Four, and then just unbelievable experience. But the memories, it's always about memories. You want each of your teams to have special memories and for a lifetime, and that team obviously afforded all Sooners and everyone associated with a lot of very good memories. So that team was special. That team was special, no question about it.
Appreciate it, Lon.
Thank you very much.
Hey, John Hoover, SI Sooners, and then Barry Trammell.
Lon, congratulations, and thanks so much for everything over the years, and I mean everything. This story's been told before, but I'd like to revisit 2011. Joe coming out to Las Vegas. You and Barb had just finished building your dream home. Moving boxes were still packed, apparently, and here comes this athletic director from Oklahoma. He needs a coach. He's making one last pitch. You'd already told him no once over the phone. You told him no again. Why did you finally say yes to one more rebuild? And how do you look back on that day now?
Yeah, it's hard to say why. Anyone that knows Joe knows he can be pretty persistent. And when he's got a plan, when he's got a vision, which Sooners have benefited for 20 plus years from that. Yeah, Barb and I think just, we didn't expect to leave Vegas. We love the people there. We've been fortunate every stop of the way to develop great relationships, great friendships, and have those to this day. So, but I guess in the end, Big 12 is appealing. The Sooner brand, we knew from the Kansas State days and competing against Oklahoma how strong that brand was, and we've learned since that it's even way more powerful than what we knew from the outside. It's an unbelievable worldwide brand. But I guess the more Barb and I talked about it, getting back to our roots in the Midwest and the Big 12 and the opportunity to recruit the type of people that gave us a chance to compete, one more time for that Final Four opportunity, and we just ended up going that route, and no regrets in that for sure. As much as we again enjoyed Vegas and loved the people there, we developed those same relationships here, and be forever grateful to Joe for that, and others at Oklahoma.
Lon, thanks, and best of luck to you.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
Okay, Barry Trammell, the Oklahoman, and then Garen Emig.
Yeah, Lon, college basketball can be a cutthroat business. It can be a sordid business. A lot of times it eats up even good people. And yet for 35 years, you've stayed above the fray in every way, from your character to your deportment to everything. Why were you able to do that? And why were you able to be so successful in a business where being either unscrupulous or just downright mean generally gets you ahead?
I get difficult to answer because my parents were all about that, all about others, doing things for others, making others feel good about themselves. It's always we, never I. We'd take in, before the day of foster kids, we'd have different people living with us for weeks at a time that we didn't know. And so I think it all goes back to that. Great memories, unbelievable parents, always about the right things. Oldest of six kids, and parents were only concerned about what's best for each of us. So it all goes back to that, as it does, I guess, for a lot of us. But I appreciate the question. It's a hard one to answer because the emotion involved. But thanks for asking.
If you don't mind, Lon, tell me your parents' names.
Yeah, Don and Betty.
Thanks, Lon.
Yep, you bet.
Garen Emig, Tulsa World, and then James Hale.
Try to lighten the mood a little, Lon.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks, Gary.
I just want it on the record now that the issues the Sooners have had at Bramlage the last 8 to 10 years, that was a favor to the alma mater, correct?
Yeah, it may look that way. What did we win there? One time? I think, and that was a long time ago. So, yeah, that's number one. I think their teams have been good. And I think the job Bruce Weber did this year was maybe as good a job as anyone in the country in taking a young group, starting 3 freshmen, and they got really good, late in the year, and that's what any coach wants to do, is make progress. And the way they played Baylor in that last conference tournament game showed that if we were starting this thing all over, they'd be competing for the top part of the conference. So and they'll do that next year. So but again, with Bruce and we're all cheering for Scott, and the guys at Baylor now to win a national championship. But you can go down the list through all 10. 9 other coaches in the conference and just be, amazed at how good of a job they do. And that's that, in addition to having really good players, is what makes the Big 12 so tough, every night out. But yeah, happy for Bruce and the Wildcats, and always be a huge fan of theirs. And like always, cheering for them every time out.
Big picture, real quick, just for old time's sake, as you depart the game, or at least coach from a coaching perspective, is there anything that worries you about the state of the game? Is there anything that, because I know it's changing so rapidly, especially with players' rights and loose and transferred situations, and it in a lot of ways it's made the job a lot tougher for coaches. Is there anything that are you worry is threatening either the sport's integrity or moral fiber as you depart?
Absolutely, great worry for the game. As great as the game is, and you'll get me on a soapbox here, but the NCAA, has got to revamp. Period. I mean, we can't continue as we are, And young coaches today seeing people violate the rules and nothing happen is ridiculous. And I'm concerned about the young coaches taking that as a lead. Um, and one of the greatest things my dad imparted was, I mean, there's no satisfaction in cheating and winning. I mean, absolutely anyone can do that, you know. So you get me on a soapbox here, and yeah, there needs to be great changes, and it's tough because of the amateurism aspect, the legal fronts, what you can do. But the NCAA right now is going to a gunfight with a knife, and we're not winning. So love the leadership of Craig Robinson with the NABC. He's about all the right stuff, and I think he's going to bring about great change. But we need change. We can't continue to turn our head and be blind to craziness out there, and you know what's going on, and it needs to be changed.
Okay. Thanks as always, Lon.
Yep. Thanks for the opportunity to get on that soapbox. I think more people need to do it.
Okay, James Hale, KREF, and then Josh Calloway.
Lon, I want to thank you for just working with this reporter. You came on my show quite a bit. It was always a blast. And thank you for doing that and working with me, man. One thing that I'm curious about, because when you came in and you said, come to my practice, fans come to my practice, media come to my practice. I thought it was great. It was, because at the time football was shutting down. You can tell, football programs don't want media around a lot, but you wanted people around with what you're doing. And I'm curious about that philosophy and why you did that when you showed up at Oklahoma and made covering your program so much fun.
Well, thanks, James. Appreciate all your time through the years. And, we not really ever taken ourselves too seriously about what we do. We're fortunate to do what we do. There's a whole lot of people that in this world that are doing things a lot more important than coaching a game. And I knew how, we've always had practice open everywhere we've been. But I see the joy that dads and moms have with their sons and daughters when they come to practice and shoot around with our players afterwards. And I think it's just something that, it's easy to do. People worry about scouting report. Well, there's not any secrets anymore. Every game's on television. Coaches know everything about the other team. So it comes down to players making shots and making plays. So nothing we do in practice is going to give away any secrets by any means. We don't have that ability to be smarter than anyone else. So and I think it's great for the players. I mean, I think the players loved it. They love shooting around with youngsters afterwards. I think fans enjoyed it. It's always been, wherever we've been, the programs belong to the community, it's belong to the university, it's belong to the former players. It's not my program. It's not our coach's program. It's our program, community wide. And it just seems the natural thing to do. And we've enjoyed it. And I think our players have enjoyed it. And as a parent, I'd love to go to practice and watch my son play. And
Right.
if parents want to come, I think that's great. We're not ever, we're going to play people that deserve to play. We're not ever going to be influenced by what parents want or others want. Players determine that. And we've always had the confidence and security to not worry too much about what folks that aren't at practice every day are thinking or wondering, because they don't know, what's going on. So we never worried too much about that. So it's been great. We've loved. I think we've developed a lot of friendships and relationships through people being at practice, and Paul Armstrong was at practice really from day one, and in his group that was there every day with the Joe Bogans and Jerry Kershaws and so many others that, again, I apologize, I'm going to leave out names, but Paul's coming out of surgery and recovering. We wish him well. We're thinking about him. So that's just, again, it's the right thing to do and the fun thing to do. And I know our players enjoyed it.
Hey, Lon, you can use my show anytime for a soapbox if you want to get after the NCAA. I'm right there beside you. All right. So I'll let you lead the way. I'll throw the question out. You go for it. Okay.
I appreciate that. Keep up the good work.
Thanks.
We'll go to Josh Calloway with Sooners Wire, and then we'll go to Nate Fakin. Josh?
Yeah, Lon, congratulations obviously on a fantastic career. It was a pleasure to cover your team this season. I guess just want to ask specifically, going back to kind of what President Harris was saying earlier about, your favorite coach's favorite coach, just specifically the outpouring of, just love, I guess, and respect from other coaches around the country over the last 24 hours or so, Mike Boynton, Bill Self, Scott Drew, a million others. Just, I guess, what that means for you.
Well, it's very kind, and I appreciate it a lot. And I think those in the coaching fraternity understand what each other's doing every day, and we've been got obviously so many great people and great coaches and great friends, and we'll have those forever. And competing against folks, I think, enhances the relationship, and again, we appreciate all the kind words and the support, and I'll be bugging them about dropping by practice, I'm sure, from time to time to fill that need that's going to be there going forward. So, but no, it means a lot. Again, those are great friends and great competitors, and we appreciate all of that.
Thank you, Lon. Wish you the best.
Thank you.
Nate indicated that his question was just asked, so we'll go ahead to Ryan Chapman with SI Sooners. Ryan?
Yeah, Coach, we've talked a lot about your well-earned reputation as a program builder and a program rebuilder. At every stop along the way, not only have you had great success, but that success has come very early on. Can you kind of reflect back on what you and your coaching staffs have been able to do to not just turn things around, but have that immediate impact at every stop along the way?
Well, it comes always back to players. Players get it done. I think our function in all of that is just whether you're a parent or a business owner or a coach or a teacher, is to create an environment, create a culture in which players love being around. If they're in the office a lot, if they're coming by practice early, if they're staying late, if they want to be around us, then we've got a better chance to teach and to listen and to learn from them. And they've got a better chance then to realize their potential and do it as well as they possibly can. And that's not just on the court, but also, socially and in the classroom and in every other way. So, I think, our goal is to be, confidence promoting all the time, never demeaning, be, spending time. There's no shortcut for time in anything. You can talk about what you want to do, but really you're identified with where you spend your time, not necessarily your money, but your time. And our players know that we've had great coaching staffs, people that are genuinely interested in the well-being of the student athlete, again, not only on the court. And when players recognize that, the staff being all in on what's best for them, then I think you've got the best chance to realize as close to potential as possible. And our staff has been great, and our current staff has been fantastic. And again, just appreciate, all those through the years, but this staff this year, so very, very much.
Thank you, Coach. Congratulations.
You bet. Thank you.
We've got time for a few more questions if there are any. We'll go back to John Hoover for a follow-up.
Yeah, Lon, I always thought it was interesting, he National Player of the Year, Buddy Hield, starts out as a freshman and, he works his way up and works harder than everybody else and becomes the National Player of the Year. A couple of years later, you got a lottery pick as a true freshman, comes in, totally different skill set. And yet he's got all the headlines and all the, attention that they're. What did the dichotomy of those two players and their career arcs at Oklahoma, what did those teach you about yourself and how to coach players at this current time?
Well, always, every player is unique. We've never compared one player to another. We, kind of start out with this is where we're at. And then with the player, we listen a lot. I think listening is a huge, huge ingredient. Um, um, we ask about the player's vision, where you want to be, what do you want to accomplish, what do you want to do? And, and then work backwards from that. Okay, if you want to be great, on the court, if you want to be great in the classroom or great at anything, let's develop a plan to get there. And then you do that together. Everything's about shared ownership. It's never my way or your way. It's always, let's get this done together and make it our way. And Buddy and Trey were unbelievably skilled people. They had different skill sets for sure. And yet they were both driven to be exceptional, and both extremely hard workers, both invested in their craft. And Trey, quite frankly, probably arrived with a more complete skill set than Buddy, and Buddy just kept getting better and better and better, and it was driven to be great. And Buddy was extremely smart. He as turned down the early entry after his junior year, and said, I can do better. I can have a better foundation, and then became player of the year, and absolutely earned everything that came his way. And then Trey was so skilled with the ball, so fast with the ball. I mean, people sometimes would ask, how can he do all those things when he's not that athletic? And I look at him like, hey, he's faster with the ball than anyone else is without. And he had great vision and great imagination as a passer. He's a terrific passer. And both have excelled in the NBA, and couldn't be happier for them, couldn't be more proud for them. The players that have gone through the program before have been so great and so supportive of each of our teams that we've had here. And the Griffin family, Blake and Taylor and mom and dad, and I mean, they've been so instrumental and supportive, throughout the process, and in every way, and we'll continue to do that. I mean, that's the thing, that when people leave Oklahoma as a player, regardless of sport, I mean, they are Sooners for life, and they are appreciative, and they know how special it was here. I mean, the academic assistance here, the investment in the student athletes, in every way is top chart. And I think players and student athletes come to realize that, shortly after they're here, that this is a special place, and people here are special, and the leadership's special, and they appreciate that, and certainly Buddy and Trey and Blake and everyone else that's gone before, has done that. At the risk of emotion, Coach Tubbs, I knew better than to go there. He and his family are Sooner basketball. And will always be. So, Coach Tubbs jumping on board when we arrived, and being so supportive and talking to our players, and meant everything, and really helped in the transition of when we came to Oklahoma, and miss him a lot.
Lon, we appreciate you.
Coach, we got a couple more follow-ups here. Let's go back to Ryan Aber.
Yeah, Lon, want to ask you, what were those conversations like yesterday with former players and former assistants, the guys that have been around the program, things like that? And then also anything that we haven't asked you about that you wanted to address?
Well, you guys have been helpful for sure, and I appreciate that. The former, again, the 10 years at Oklahoma, but then the players at other stops. I mean, I really look forward to re-engaging with them more. We'll have certainly more time on our hands, and say thanks to each and every one that I can reach, and we'll try to reach out to all of them, and again, how supportive they've been, how gracious they've been, and certainly it's always about players. Coaches just don't win without good players. I mean, all the coaches are good; they really are, and they're well prepared, and their teams are good. So it's always about players, and we've been extremely blessed with just terrific players and young men, and again, players' families. I mean, it all goes hand in hand. So yeah, so it is great, and I'm going to go real quick here on Renee Forney. She, along with Coach Tubbs, is Sooner basketball, and she does. She makes everyone's job so much easier and so much more enjoyable. And her relationship with the former players, and goes back a long way, as you former players know, because she'll call and get after you if you're not showing up for reunions or if you're not showing up to games, and they respond to her. And her heart and abilities are second to none. And we so appreciate Renee and all that she does and will continue to do, and in a great way.
Okay, Coach, looks like we have one more. Back to Barry Trammell.
Yeah, Lon, I try not to get too overly emotional, but I just had one question for you. Any chance we could talk you into staying on the job?
Well, I appreciate that, but yeah, I do appreciate that, and we love what we do, and we've been blessed with the opportunity to do what we love for 50 years, and the timing is right, and we'll be so engaged in whatever happens going forwards, and so excited about what's going to happen going forwards, because all the pieces are in place to take this to much greater heights. And I say pieces in terms of leadership and genuine people, and it's a place you can recruit great players, and the Big 12 Conference is great, and where players want to play. They want to play against the best, and that happens in the Big 12. And so, yeah, we're excited. We're grateful, appreciative, excited about what lies ahead, and part of that excitement is the cheering on and supporting all those people and places where we've been, and running to whatever lies ahead. But thanks, Barry.
Thanks, Lon.
You bet.
Okay, it looks like that's all the questions we have, Coach. I'd like to thank everyone again for joining us on what is certainly a bittersweet day for everyone here at OU. And one final thank you and congratulations, excuse me, to Coach Kruger. We certainly wish you and Barb the best. Thank you so much for everything, and thank you everybody again for joining us.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.